when I walk in the room. I'm still, what is it? What's the lyric? I done forgot it now. It's been in my head for like 2 days.
Best believe I'm still
Bejeweled. When I walk in that room, I can still make the whole place shimmer. Let's talk about Hitler.
That'll make sense later.
I'm immaculately conceived.
I don't know what to do.
I swear I'm not stupid.
Take it or leave it. Sometimes you just want to leave it.
If I gotta borrow my mom's underwear, I'm borrowing her underwear.
You just, yeah.
Misa likes the Jar Jar Binks.
I'm not gonna edit it out.
Oh no.
I don't know. Like I think I was pretty great. Just staying on the
Sucks to
planet.
suck.
Why are you saying it with a question mark?
Clap, bitch.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Action.
And we're live. I'm Anna.
I'm Jessica. Oh my gosh.
So if you didn't know.
Yeah, we saw Taylor Swift. We're sick.
We got ill right when we got back from Atlanta.
It's still not like gone.
No, we don't know what it is. We haven't tested for nothing. Don't come after us.
We just figured, you know,
we'll be all right.
Our ancestors lived this long, probably did. They didn't even have tests back in the day.
Yeah.
So we just were like, yeah.
We'll be all right. But I know it's not allergies because we both have been sick with very similar symptoms for the same amount of time.
I was convinced at first that my sore throat was due to the screaming of the lyrics.
Same.
And then it was just allergies.
On top of that.
And then it quickly was like, no, because I feel dead.
Yeah.
I just am so tired.
Yeah. So we've been battling that. And then we thought about recording yesterday, but we're like, no, let's just
one more day.
Give us an extra day to try to like.
We're taking Saturday as the day of rest rather than Sunday.
Are we Jewish?
0.7%.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're a little bit. So that's the day of rest is the Sabbath. It's Sabbath day is Saturday.
Thank you for teaching me about my culture.
You're welcome.
Because I didn't know. I made you something. It's in my pocket.
You did?
I did.
What'd you make me? Is it another bracelet?
It is.
So if y'all didn't know, which we talked about in the last episode, we were making friendship bracelets to exchange with people.
Yeah.
You made me one?
It says Whey Pod.
Cute.
And I made myself one because I didn't want to not have a Whey bracelet.
And it's the lover colors.
Yeah.
I love it.
And then I kind of I don't know. I just like
yours is cute. I like that. With that little goldish yellow color added in. I love it. Thanks.
You're welcome. Now that's going on to the collection of friendship bracelets, which we did end up exchanging.
Yeah, we made some. I made like 2 in the car and like 3 in the hotel. Jessica made like 100.
I got really good. I just feel like I knew what I was doing.
You were just
was
going in, and I was like,
it would have really been over with if we would have got the letters that were organized by like letter.
Mm-hmm.
It would have been done.
Yeah, we just got the multi-pack where you kind of had to hunt for your letters as like a word search.
Yeah,
thing.
Which it's not that bad, except when you're getting really low on like a vowel and you're like, am I out of this vowel?
E's and O's, man. E's and O's, especially with Taylor Swift, like songs or lyrics or album names.
For real, though.
E's are rough.
Yeah.
But I mean, not to brag, I think that our friendship bracelets were the best ones that we saw all night.
That's not very Swifty of you to admit out loud.
I'm sorry.
I mean, we splurged for the glass beads.
Yeah.
Which we're well aware these tickets cost an arm and a leg, so I don't want to be the bitch that's like, why are y'all using the cheap beads?
Oh, no. But ours did look better. You see what you got. Like, I'm not looking down on you. I'm just saying objectively.
I mean, well, we had, ours had, you had like iridescent situation. Mine has like certain flats.
Yeah, mine was
colors.
like a cracked glass sort of effect.
So ours were really cute. And it's funny because it's like, I wanted to keep ours.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wanted to hand bracelets out and get people's bracelets, but dang. But they look like all together, they're all so cute though.
Mm-hmm.
But
I love seeing how like different people did their different styles and what they had in mind. And like some people went with album names, some people went with like lyrics from songs. It's just really cute. So I mean, I think all of mine were lover themed.
Yeah.
Because if you couldn't tell, this is my concert outfit.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if y'all can see in the wide. Hello. Got a pink skirt on for our audio only listeners. I've got a pink tennis skirt situation. It's like hot pink. Got a baby blue camisole thing. And then I've got my denim jacket that I bejeweled myself. And it's got like a rainbow heart patch glitter thing. And then my VIP pen.
VIP.
And yeah, I love my jacket.
Yeah, your jacket's awesome. So,
and some of my gems have started to peel off, by the way, but I think because of the rain and the friction of the seats and stuff. But they're holding on pretty strong. I've only had 2 fall off so far.
So audio listener. So currently, what like my bottom half is not what I wore to the concert. What I wore to the concert was a pair of like, I guess like fishnet style kind of stockings that were like snake themed or whatever, and then I had on a black pair of denim shorts, and I have like black Chelsea boots, which I have the black Chelsea boots on now, but currently I have on a black pair of jeans because I was like, I'm not doing that. But I have this sparkly like silver top. I don't really know how to describe what this looks like.
I mean, it's just like a shiny, glittery sort of silver with a black background on it. Yeah. So it's not like bright silver, but it's got like when light hits it.
And I've got like this black blazer on, which I had.
It's like a fake leather blazer. Yeah. Like a soft leather.
Yeah. I had painted like we'll put the pictures up of like what our stuff looked like. Had rep on it, and then during the concert, or like during the show, and I had known this before we went. Our Taylor transitions from "Don't Blame Me" to "Look What You Made Me Do" during her Reputation part of the concert, and so she combines the lyrics and she goes, "Don't blame me for what you made me do." So I put that on my jacket and I painted it.
It looks so good.
And it looked great.
She took so long and so much care to like trace out and cut out the letters, and then she transferred it to a stencil.
My finger still has weird feeling in it from like how I had to cut stuff.
Like she took a lot of time and it looks so good too, because it was like all precise and like went over multiple layers of paint. Like it looked really, really good. And
it's destroyed. It literally I'll probably just take a picture.
And then she like bedazzled the front of it with some gemstone situations. They all fell off.
All of them fell off. This one's still here. And then there's 2 up here, but there were
there
was stuff here and here that I had this, and then I have my VIP pin there. So yeah, that happened, and because I'm an idiot and I didn't think, I mean, okay, everybody from a crafters out there, you hear about E6000 and you're like, that's the glue.
Yes. E6000, for those who don't know, is like it's a crafting staple.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
I mean,
it's
like
known to
hold everything.
Yes, it's a very strong sort of adhesive.
So I'm assuming that my jacket will not be any type of exception to E6000. It is. It literally would not. And apparently that's a thing with leather or fake leather. It's very similar, like vinyl. You have to have certain types of glue because it has nothing. It has no texture to penetrate and to grab onto. So everything just started to pop off. Thankfully, though.
Yeah, because with adhesives, you don't really want like a smooth surface.
Yeah.
You want it to be kind of rough, because then that's what provides like the adhesion, which is why you're supposed to like sandpaper certain things before you like glue them and paint them.
So I didn't. And the good part is the REP, because I ended up I did that in tiny rhinestones. That stayed the whole night, except once we got rained on, and the Marta, and then I tore them all off. But that stayed, but everything started to pop off, and then
immediately, like before we even, because we finished up both of our jackets, like we stayed up that night doing it. Like we did the day before we left, we spent several hours. I mean, and even before that, you had spent several hours on your jacket already. And then that night before the concert, when we were in our hotel room, we were literally watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith and doing our jackets.
And on repeat, I feel like.
Yeah.
I feel like it just kept playing.
Yeah.
But
then like literally the next morning, as soon as you started to put it on, like it was like, oh no, one popped off. And then there was like a trail of rhinestones from the hotel to the
airport,
the shuttle to the airport, to the Marta, to everywhere. It's just, and that's how we knew where our seats were, at least, because just look for the rhinestones.
We're all right there. So where to begin with the journey? So I know you guys really care to hear about the whole story. So
yeah.
I think the for once, it was great. Everything was perfect.
Yeah, just general scores, 10 out of 10.
Amazing. If you're going, I'm sure you're already aware of all the TikToks or the Instagram, any platform that you choose to watch your videos on. You've probably already seen a bunch of stuff. You should be as excited as you feel. It's fucking awesome. You're going to have an amazing time. And literally no complaints.
We talked about this a little bit after the concert, but and we talked about it on the phone the other day, it wasn't even so much like, yeah, getting to see her and her perform and hear the music live is really cool and getting to see the whole spectacle of it. But that wasn't honestly even the best part.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what made it so fun.
No, like I think that I will say, I think most people have the experience we have.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you're on the floor in the first like maybe 5 rows, you are having like a different experience because it's so much up close to her that it probably settles in their mind more she's right there. Because of course we knew she was there and we were closer than we were before, but because we're still pretty distance away from her, that it's like.
And there were still because of our angle, there were still certain parts I had to see what was the choreography and whatnot. I still had to look at the screens.
Yeah.
But there were still certain parts where like I could just look at her on the stage and see her, like she's right there. But yeah, so I mean, I think that but I was saying what made it so fun was just like just being surrounded by a bunch of other people who are also in the same mindset that you are in terms of like just the excitement of being there, the like loving her music. Whether if obviously everyone has their certain songs that are like their favorites, and the other ones are like, I could take it or leave it, or this is my like pee break song.
How dare you?
I mean, just the general excitement of like being surrounded by other people who just love her, love the music, and are happy to be there. And like everyone is like, I feel like the same level of enthusiastic.
Yeah.
Like I didn't feel like there was a single person that we talked to or saw or interacted with that was like, oh, Taylor Swift. Or like, oh, I got dragged to this concert.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like even people who like, it's like, I'm taking my girlfriend, I'm taking my daughter. Like, they were still excited to be there. And we're like, it's almost like even if it's not your favorite artist, you still are happy for the person that you're with, that they're so excited. It's like contagious.
Yeah, I never saw anybody that went and then they were like, man, that sucked. I've seen more videos of guys after going to the Taylor Swift concert being like, guys, I think I've been converted, because there's just something fun. And I think what people miss when it comes to being a fan of Taylor Swift is, yes, she's a great songwriter. Yes, she has like big sister energy, like for our generation. Some people call her mother, which the younger generation, which is fine. I mean, that's funny. And to me, she's always been like that big sis, like this big sister type thing. But half of it is like being friends with other Swifties, like that community that she's managed to create is fun. And like it's fun being friends with people that
you don't know.
Yeah, like in that
there's
moment.
There's like an immediate connection and a bond that you have with people where you just feel so comfortable with them.
Yeah.
Because they're you.
Yeah, you feel like
there's a camaraderie.
100%. And so it was just like
which sounds fun. So like cheesy or whatever to say, but it's so
but
true.
It's fun. That's what's like so interesting about like seeing how like over the years being a fan of Taylor Swift has like transformed, because I used to be made fun of for liking Taylor Swift. I used to be like, oh, you like Taylor Swift? Well, I like the hard music. I like you like all she does is like, I remember being
she's like basic pop country princess, or even after it was like basic white girl.
I remember
likes Taylor Swift
at one point. Yeah, but I remember when Red came out. I remember hearing it from both sides, of hearing like the people, fans of country music, going, "That's not real country." But you're allowed to have that opinion. Fine, whatever. And they're like, but that's not pop. Like I remember hearing this, like, nobody wants this morphed like music genre, like hybrid. I remember hearing that.
Red is my favorite album.
Yeah, and I'm like,
still. And
it's just interesting though to see she's become more and more and more people like her than they used to. Like she's always been popular, but what she is now versus what she was in 2012 is totally different. Like you're more likely, people, I'm more likely to find someone who likes Taylor Swift than like doesn't.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to see people's attitudes of her over the years. And I've seen people that are like, never was a Swiftie, now I am.
Oh my God, it drives me nuts when, because at work, my boss was like, asking about the concert before, and then after, before we went, he was like, his wife and his stepdaughter went to one of the Tampa shows.
Oh, that was fun.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, did they enjoy it? He's like, oh yeah, they had a great time. He's like, I just don't really. Everyone loves Taylor Swift. He's like, I just don't really get it. And I'm like, you know what? maybe it's just not for you to get. That's okay. But like, you can't deny, like, even if you're like, I don't really get it.
Like, what don't you get though? Because I do, I guess what I don't understand by that statement is like,
I think it's what
that's like me saying I don't get why people like Beyonce. Like it's like insulting though, no matter what. Like, I don't have to get it. It's not even a thought process for me to get. You either like, I mean, I like Beyonce, but I'm just saying.
Well, I mean,
like,
I think,
it's a weird
guess
statement.
It's more coming from a place, if I had to assume, a place of like, that's not the kind of music he listens to or seeks out. So it's like, I understand if you're like, I mean, I guess other people like it, but it's not for me, which is fine. But like, it's undeniable.
Yeah.
When you see how many people do connect to her,
yeah,
and her music and love her and want to see her, that's undeniable. So
yeah,
you got to get something, I guess.
Me just being like, something about that statement annoys me, because I'm like, I've never. That's one thing with Taylor Swift, well, and I've heard repeatedly. Like, I've always I've heard people say over the years, I don't get it, but I don't hear that when people talk about like Eminem, and I love Eminem, but I've never once, even if someone doesn't like rap music, it's never, oh, I don't get Eminem. They just are like not a fan of the genre rap. So what do you mean? Like, I don't get the Taylor Swift thing. Do you not get
I told him he was a hater. I'm like, you're just a hater. And he's like, I'm not. I'm like, well, you are.
Do you not get Miley Cyrus or Ariana Grande or Selena Gomez or Demi Lovato? Like, do you not get any of them either? Because it's pop music. So like, why is it just one girl you don't get? See, that statement to me is weird. Which, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. You're a hater. Me, everyone's allowed to have their opinion unless it's different than mine when it comes to Taylor Swift, because you're wrong.
But yeah, so it was a very fun night. Everyone was very enthusiastic, very nice. I mean, the stadium, I mean, is so cool. It's huge. I mean, which we've been to the Benz before. Is it Mercedes-Benz?
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Yeah. We've been to the Benz before.
The Benz.
It's just a really nice stadium. Inside of it, our section, which we'd mentioned before, we knew we had VIP tickets, which meant we got exclusive merch and we had aisle seats. And
that's all I really thought it was.
Yeah. So apparently our VIP tickets in the section we were in, it was in the one of the club level sections of the lower bowl, the first level bowl, which means that once you get in, you kind of go up or to get in. And then we had to walk down to our seats. But then like right by our seats, there was another separate set of stairs that led down and when you go down, you're basically on the floor level. But it was like our section and like maybe 3 or 4 others all had access to an exclusive lounge. Like, it was a private club level only lounge. So we got our own private bathrooms. We got a private bar, private concession. I hate calling it concession stands, but like food lines, private merch lines. And it didn't take any time to get anything. Like, we walked up to the bar. It didn't take any time to get drinks. Food took like 5 minutes. It was just really great. And the food was decent. It wasn't super expensive either.
No.
It was like we paid like $6 we split some chicken tenders and some fries. It was actually really good.
The fries were really slapping.
The honey mustard was on point.
It was like
surprisingly good.
It was just one of those things where I'm like, oh, that's what we also paid for.
Yeah, that was part of why it was a more expensive ticket.
Yeah.
Was because you get that sort of VIP, which was VIP tickets. You get that VIP sort of experience, never going back. There is not another way I'm ever going to do another concert again.
Meaning, like, that's the only way I want to experience it from now on.
Yes.
I never want to be in the nosebleeds in my life again. I never want to be a peasant. No, I'm not hating on it, because I will say, there's not a bad seat seeing a Taylor Swift show. I mean, because of especially the Mercedes-Benz. I mean, God, there's so many screens everywhere.
And they're huge and it's so loud. Like, you're not going to miss anything.
No. But now that I've experienced both, I'd rather fork out the money and sit in a really nice seat closer to the stage, have like our own have that just like luxury. Like, oh, it was great. I'm like, nah, that's the only way I want to do it from now on. That was awesome.
It was definitely different from our last Taylor Swift concert experience. One, because this one's twice as long. So the first concert, when we went to the Reputation tour, we were in the nosebleeds. We didn't get any food or drink when we were there. We didn't take any bathroom breaks. because it was what, an hour and a half, maybe hour and 15, hour and a half long.
Maybe. Yeah, because it was just the Reputation album and
Yeah.
a few of her like big songs.
Yeah, so it would have been what, maybe it was less than 20 songs. Whereas this one was what, 40 songs?
Like, yeah, like 44 songs or something.
3-hour show. That was it. 3 hours just her. She went on at like yeah, I think it was because she went on around 8 o'clock. Because the two opening acts, the first one went on just before 6:30. The second one, it was probably closer to like 7:15. I think they each got about like 30, 45 minutes. And then Taylor went on around, it was either a little before or right around 8 o'clock.
I mean, bless Taylor Swift. God,
she
girl.
was just singing nonstop. Like the only break she took was for costume changes. That was it. There were a couple of like transitionary, like interlude things for them to switch out the sets and change her costumes. But I mean, nothing longer than a minute and a half.
No.
So she was just go, 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 go for 3 hours.
I mean, I guess the adrenaline of all that around you is like helpful and you have your day, but holy shit.
And like, you know that she's in good shape because she's running around and dancing. I mean, she's not doing like intense choreography like the dancers are doing, but she's still dancing and moving and singing the whole time, where I'm like, her voice is in such, I think she is an underrated live singer and performer.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people have made like cracks or jokes or whatever in the past of some of her live performances. Her vocals haven't been like super great or super strong. But for her to go for 3 hours dancing, singing like full out the whole time, and her voice still sounds good at the end of the show. And she's doing sometimes up to 3 shows in one city in a weekend.
Mm-hmm. I think this is one of the last, I think Nashville is one of the last stops she's doing 3 shows. And I think everything else is going to be 2 shows. I had a psycho moment where I've made a Google Calendar of all her shows to be like, okay, if I get rich and then between now and August, what shows could I go to? I have a problem.
But so, I mean, you have to imagine she's only got, 4 days off in between shows. And in the meantime, she's also practicing her surprise songs. So she does 2 surprise songs at every show.
Yeah.
And they're different from each other. So at these 3 show weekends, she's doing 6 songs that some of them she hasn't performed in several years, you know? So she has to spend some time the days leading up to it practicing those 6 songs. So she's not, I would imagine, on complete vocal rest those days.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, they're her songs. She wrote them. She should be able to it's like riding a bike, but nah.
Girl, nah, she forgot Gorgeous, which good for you guys. She could do it because if she messes up. So if she does a Midnight Song as her song, like her surprise song, she can play it again if she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
If she's doing a song from any other album, she doesn't plan to do it again, but if she messes it up, then she'll do it again. She did mess up Gorgeous because she was like, is it whiskey? Is it whiskey?
So our 2 surprise songs were High Infidelity, which we all knew. And then she was like, yeah, it's come to my attention that people are like betting on what songs I'm going to do. And she's like, that's wild.
She was pointing out too. She's like, I didn't realize I haven't done a Reputation song yet.
But y'all did. So let's do one.
Y'all, we thought, I was like, are we getting Getaway Car? Now, here's the thing. I like the song Getaway Car. There's so much like who's going to get it on TikTok. And I was like,
why?
Because I don't know. It's just like I think it has like a pretty good, like I guess the bridge.
Oh.
So I think people really like that. Kind of the reason Cruel Summer. So like, ugh. And so everyone's
it does have a little bit of like a shouty, talky shouty bridge.
Because
that's fun.
Yeah, because she's like, money in the bag. Yeah, that whole thing. So I think everyone's just like, it's fun. It's a fun song. So she said that and I was like, are we about to get Getaway Car? We got Gorgeous, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to be disappointed no matter what I get. And so it's like, it's fun to see what other people get.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little jealous of Nashville, and I don't know, maybe a lot jealous because Teardrops on My Guitar was my first Taylor Swift song. That's what they got Friday night.
I'm a little upset we didn't get any songs from the debut album.
Well, there's a lot of hit songs to me that are on that album, so it's a whole era that she didn't do any attention. So I'm like, why you do that?
I mean, yeah, it's a little disappointing that she didn't do any from that album.
Yeah. I mean, even like when?
Yeah. Because
when?
Because it is one of the eras.
it's an era, Taylor.
But I'm assuming she had a reason for choosing to not do that album.
Yeah, I'm
not do
assuming there's a reason. So, but either way, it's all good. So,
but yeah, so Gorgeous was our second surprise song, and she did mess up the going into the first chorus. Because it changes a little bit. The lyrics are a little bit different going into the first chorus versus the second one.
Yeah.
And she like stumbled over it, and we're all singing it right. We know.
Yeah, because it was Whiskey on Ice, Sunset, and Vine. She goes, wait. Is it Whiskey or Sunset? And we're like, it's Whiskey.
Yeah.
She's like, okay.
And she was like, oh, Whiskey. Okay. And she's like,
I'm starting over. I'm embarrassed.
Yeah. She said, I'm mortified. I'm humiliated. Like, I practiced this all day. I had it down. And she's like, you know what? I'm starting it over. And we're like, yes.
Yeah.
And so like, I know that she said she was embarrassed that happened, but just know, Taylor, that it just endears you to us even more.
Yeah. Like
we loved it. We loved that moment because it's a very candid, like real, honest thing, like a mistake that happened, you know?
Yeah. Even when she first started to do High Infidelity, she was trying to talk and then she like stumbled over her words and she's like, I've tried to start like 27 different sentences at once. Like, do you guys ever do that? And I'm like,
she was just like,
watch one of these podcasts.
Yeah. She just couldn't quite get her thoughts where she wanted. And it was just like very endearing. And
yeah. She told us a cat joke because her ear, like, you know, they wear like this earpiece and she's calling it her ears. And she's like, it wasn't working. So then we're all just kind of chilling. And then she told us this cat joke, which is like really cute. And like, I mean, it's like a dad joke. So it's funny. But
which she handled that very well, which you would expect for her being, you know, a professional, to be able to handle any sort of technical mishap that might happen.
Yeah. I think the thing with her that is just, even though she clearly is Taylor Swift in the sense of like, we don't know her, but she's got this relatability to her where it's like, she doesn't seem like she has like, she's a diva, but not where it's like something like that can happen. And she's just like, oh yeah, this is happening right now, guys. Let's try to get this fixed. And then we'll go on with the show. She talks to the audience like you would talk to your friend. Like, oh yeah, we're having a hiccup real quick. And
she doesn't panic.
Yeah, there's no panic.
And there's no anger either that something got messed up. I mean, even after like her in-ears went out and, she's talking us through it or whatever, trying to buy time so they can fix it. And then they get it fixed. And then she's literally is like, let's give it up for my sound and tech guy, like my crew, because they're just so great and they're the best. And they fixed the problem. And then it went out again and then they had to fix it again. Yeah. But I mean, the fact that she was even like, she wasn't mad that it happened because stuff happens.
Yeah.
So she's like a pop diva in the aesthetic and like her presence, but not like a bitch. And what a lot of people would associate with being a diva, like diva-like behavior. She's not at all.
No. One of the most, like, one of my favorite parts of the concert was and I had told you this was going to be a moment for me, so I was like, just let me have it, because so she sings Marjorie before she sings Champagne Problems. And so night 1 in Atlanta, they had surprised her. So we were night 2, April 29th. And so, but night 1 in Atlanta, that Friday, that crowd had surprised her by
they put on their phone
lights while she was singing Champagne Problems. And so it kind of set the precedent. Go night 1. That's a sidebar, just really quick. It's really weird to me how it's like some people online are like, yeah, but night 1 did this, or night 2 did this, or Tampa night did this. I'm like, why are y'all like that? Like,
we're competitive. We're like, we're the best.
And I'm like, let's all just be buds. Let's not do all that.
But also, Atlanta night 2 was popping.
It was, but Nashville wins. That's it. It's fine.
But
so sorry. But so night 2, it kind of became the precedent, and it's continued to be the precedent that people, like, the crowd's trying to do something to kind of surprise her or whatever. And so everybody had their phone lights on during Marjorie. And I mean, you could see it on her face, like, because that was the first night that was done.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I couldn't tell if it was like the way the stage lights were done or if it was because of the phone lights, but it got so bright in the stadium, I think because everyone had all their phone lights on, that it like weirdly lit up everything else.
Well, it did, and we also had our bracelets. So it's like you have your bracelet lights, you have the phone lights. And
it just got really bright, even though there weren't a ton of lights like pointed at the stage or anything.
Yeah.
So I was like, I turned to you. I knew you were going to be a crying mess. And I started to turn to you to be like, oh my God, it got so bright in here because all the lights.
I'm like,
and I looked at you and you were just a sobbing mess.
Yeah.
She was emotional, y'all. She was going through it. And I was like, okay, we're going to let her have her moment.
Well, so I don't know if I told you or not. And I might have. I don't really remember her. Like, this is like an urn ring. So like my dad's ashes are in this ring, and I got it specifically to take to Taylor Swift. Aww. And so it was cool.
Oh. But yeah, so we all had our lights going during Marjorie, and then she got a little froggy in her throat. She got back toward the back of the stage, and she was like, "You guys," she's like, "That was so nice. I wasn't expecting that." Like, she goes during this song about my dead grandma, or my grandma who passed away. She didn't say my dead grandma.
Yeah, because that's about my grandma who passed away.
Yeah,
and so. And then I think people hung them up, or they put their phone lights on again for champagne problems. And so now it's kind of becoming the precedent is to be as loud as possible after champagne problems, which I think so far Tampa is the one who's been like the longest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was cool to have like we were the first night for Marjorie, which it felt special.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it was special for her, and then I internalized it as myself, thinking like, oh, this was the song that I was like, I know this is going to be the song. It's rough for me, and yeah, so it was like really cool.
Yeah,
and it was like this. I haven't like cried like that in a while, guys.
I've never seen you cry.
So
like other than that, like I've heard you cry on the phone, but I've never seen you cry before. But like I cry all the time, so I'm like, I'm sure you're used to seeing me just be like a soppy little baby. But
yeah, that was rough.
Yeah.
But it was like, it wasn't even like a sad cry. It was like this cathartic.
Yeah,
like,
it's just emotional. It's not.
Yeah, it was just fun. I mean, it was like just fun, but it was also just like felt special.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just really cool.
Yeah.
So, and I know there's a lot of people that feel that way about that song. And so I'm sure like anybody that was in the crowd, I mean, anyone that's going to be in the crowd in the future, but like, it was cool. Like we were the first ones that did that, and it felt special. And I was like,
she did call us a super crowd.
She did, right? It wasn't even. She hadn't even changed yet. No. She was still in her
her opening look from
Lover. Look. What was I gonna say?
Yeah, I think she had gotten like 1 or 2 songs in, and then she was like, and maybe the first like 30-45 minutes, there was a couple times where you and I both had to plug our ears because it was getting that like ringing. It was so loud. Yeah. That it was like the
I thought my eardrum was
like you hear that sort of ringing, and it's like you have to plug your ears. It was really uncomfortable because it was just so loud.
It was.
She was like, "Oh my God."
She's like, "I think you guys are the elusive super crowd.
You're loud, you're dancing, singing every word." She's like, "You're very bouncy." We're like, "Girl, we are very bouncy."
We came ready, and so it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And we made so many friends.
We did.
We'll never see them again.
No, we won't. So
Tiffany.
Yeah. So our plan, which this was the best, I think it's the best plan of action to get to the stadium and even just to get back, which we had done during Reputation, was we get a hotel near the airport because most of the airport hotels have shuttles that run 24 hours a day to and from the airport and the hotel.
Yeah.
And so we hopped on a shuttle, took it to the airport, because the airport also has a stop for MARTA, which is, for the people who don't know, is it's like a subway train situation that runs through Atlanta. There's 2 north-south lines, 2 east-west lines.
Yeah.
And so we hopped on MARTA, which is at the very southern end of the north-south lines. Take that to 5 Points, which is where all 4 lines intersect and cross. And then we hopped on the westbound train to get to the stadium, which is only 1 stop over from that. So, I mean, in total, it probably took us maybe 30 minutes to get to the stadium, maybe 45. So it wasn't super long, but we made friends along the way. Our shuttle was split between 2 hotels next to each other. Yeah. And so we were the only 2 from our hotel in our shuttle. We stopped at the other hotel and picked up Tiffany, who was our friend that we made. She was there from, I think she flew in from Miami.
Yeah, she was meeting her friends there.
She had some friends who were local. And she was meeting them at the stadium. And so, we basically adopted her. And we're like, well, we're going to stick together now because we're Swiftie besties.
Yes. And that was funny. It's like, it was just accepted.
Yeah.
We found the MARTA together. We all 3 sat together. We stayed together the whole time until we got to
the stadium.
Yeah. We took some pictures together. We also made other friends too.
Yeah. And so when we were on the first MARTA, we were in the back of our little car. And there were some other girls, I think there were like 3 or 4 of them that were in seats across from us. And so
there were 4 of them.
Yeah. And so we kind of started chit-chatting with them because it was a little bit of a ride before we transferred over. And so we were chit-chatting with them. And then like again, we kind of like stuck together. We lost them at one point.
When we were getting on the second train.
Yeah, we got in separate cars, but then once we got out at our final stop at the stadium, we ran into them again. And so then we were like, let's take photos together. Like we were just talking with them and like it was just so nice. Again, it's just like there's an implicit sort of just like trust and like camaraderie with these people that, you know, we took photos on the train together.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool. It was fun.
This little girl ran up to all of us while we were taking pictures and she gave us like a little packet and it had like stickers and stuff in it, Taylor Swift stickers, and we gave her friendship bracelets. It was just so much fun. And then that little girl behind us was so cute, like in our at our seats or whatever. On the screen, eventually there's like this graphic that shows up that's like Taylor Swift, Eras Tour, and we were trying to take a picture. This is like once we're at our seats at the stadium. And this mom behind us is like, do you want me to just take y'all's picture? Like, so, because we're trying to take selfies of it. And we're like, okay, sure. She does. And then I take a picture of her and her daughter. And then her daughter kind of had like the red. So I had made bracelets and I only made one red bracelet, like from the Red era, like the Red album. And I made an All Too Well bracelet. Hadn't given it out yet. Surprisingly, no one had grabbed it yet because I was kind of letting people pick what they wanted. And so we took a picture of her mom, or that mom and her daughter, and then her daughter was dressed as like the red. She just had like a red era going on from her outfit, from what I remember. And so I had given her, I was like, hey, can I give you this bracelet? And I mean, what was she like? Maybe she was like 10. Maybe.
Yeah, her and her friend and their 2 moms were there, and the little girls were maybe like between 8 and 10.
Yeah. So we gave them bracelets, and so I had given her that. And then it was funny because her mom had somehow like walked, like she was going to her seat, but somehow she was able to whisper in my ear, like as she was walking past me. She was like right there in my ear, and she was like, so much for doing that because you just made our whole night. And I didn't even think about it because I guess like maybe they didn't have bracelets or know what, like they didn't have any whatever it was, but it was like super cute. I
guess
videos.
She was just super excited that like somebody who was like older and a Swiftie was like, do you want this bracelet?
And then throughout like sometime, because during like Love Story and You Belong With Me, I have videos of us like dancing and singing with them, and it was cute. They got they got really lit when we would like turn around, like they were like. But I remember being like that when like the big kids are like hanging out with you. So I was like, oh, that was so cute.
And then our friend who was next to us,
what
was her name? Genevieve, something like that. Gwen. I started with a G. I feel like.
I'm sorry.
She was cool.
She was super cool.
She was there by herself.
Yep.
There was a lot of people there by themselves. Though.
I thought our last friend.
Oh yeah, so after the concert, we'll just the shit show that was us trying to get back to our hotel was ridiculous. But our last friend we made was when we were waiting at the airport for the shuttle to take us from the airport to the hotel, and so we were just sitting there chit chatting with her. We were all waiting for our shuttles, and she had this sort of attitude. She was giving off very like her energy was kind of just like here, and. I don't know, just I guess her vibe was giving me like, I'm sort of over, I don't know.
It was a vibe. It was something. I mean,
it was a little bit of like a pessimistic vibe, but not in a bad way.
Yeah.
Or almost like a sarcastic vibe, you know?
She was like,
I'm trying to figure out how to describe it.
Yeah, exactly. She was cool and really nice and stuff, but like but yeah, she definitely had like I don't know, just like I don't know how to describe it because I feel like any way I describe it, it's like I'm trying to be bitchy. And I'm like, no, I liked her.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that. But anyway,
it was very like, just like almost like monotone sarcasm.
Yeah.
But it wasn't bad.
No.
You know, it's, I don't know how to, it was just, it was a vibe. It was a mood.
My idiot self, I am very tired. I'm hungry. I'm soaking wet. My jacket's fucked. That did annoy me. My legs hurt, everything. I'm just in like, at this point, I'm like, I am over it. And so I had called the hotel because I'm like, which one's our shuttle? Does it say?
We've been waiting for like 20 minutes already.
I'm pretty sure that one that was going to College Park the first time was our shuttle. But because the guy on the phone was kind of like, what? Okay, well, he's coming back. And I was like, okay. But so we're sitting there waiting. And then and he called the driver. So the driver had walked like kind of, because he was parked a little bit of ways from us. He goes, like Holiday Inn in College Park. He says our hotel or whatever. And then I just immediately was like, that's us. And
she
left.
Hopped up, bolted.
And ran.
And was like literally almost to the shuttle by the time I stood up.
Yeah, I was like, peace. And I so then I just forgot I had just made a friend.
And so she literally, I'm starting to stand up. She's already almost at the shuttle. And then our friend is like, bye, y'all safe travels or whatever. And I was like, bye. And Jessica suddenly remembered.
Yeah, I was like, oh, friend, bye.
She turns around and is like, oh my God, bye.
And I don't know that she heard me because there was a pole there. So if this ever reaches her ears, I'm so sorry. I was so tired and just
out of it.
Yeah, that it literally
her only goal and focus was
I wanted my cheesesteak.
Yeah.
Because we had ordered food before we left, so that way when we got back to our hotel, we would have food.
Yes.
So yeah, made lots of friends that we'll never see again. And I get I'm okay now, but in the moment I was like,
she was sad.
Tiffany.
Like we didn't even like follow each other on Instagram or nothing. So Tiffany from Miami, you somehow stumble upon this. Follow us on Instagram at Waypod.
Be our IRL friend.
Yeah.
No, that sounds creepy.
Yeah. But so the I wanted to say that so during the concert, you had your song that you cried during. I thought I was gonna cry more than I did. I held it together pretty good. There was a couple of moments where I got like misty eyed and had to like really like suck it back. All Too Well, of course. And then there was there was one or two other songs before that I was just a little like, whoo. And for whatever fucking reason, what song was it? What's
the Great American Dynasty?
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
That's what I was like, what is the name of that song? The Last Great American Dynasty? What is that? Last Great American Dynasty. What? I don't have my phone.
You know what song it is.
Yes. Hold on. I want to look it up.
What the? Hold on. I know.
Do I need to get my laptop?
I know it. Is it not called? Is it not? Is it not called something Dynasty?
The Last Great American Dynasty.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know. But anywho, so
I'm upset.
For whatever reason, I was like, that song was starting to like get to me, and I don't know why. And I was like holding it together. My chin was doing a little wobble, and I was holding it together. And then the lyric that got me is because during the performance, you have Taylor singing the song, and then she's singing about Rebecca, who is this sort of like socialite who's kind of like breaking all the rules of like old traditional money or whatever. And and so there's a dancer who is Rebecca. And so then Taylor gets to the lyric where like Rebecca had her house or whatever, and then Taylor says, and then it was bought by me. And I just lost it. For some reason during that lyric, immediate waterworks.
Well, see, I was just like, I knew I couldn't. So this was, now that we're all giggling, this was my thought process, right? So some people during those Evermore folklore albums would sit down, and others but then they would sit, then they would stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat some, and then I just kind of ended up standing the whole time because I just wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was singing a lot of the lyrics. And so then when that song was happening, I was like, is she mad? Like, have I annoyed her by like not chilling? Like, or something? Like, she's so serious right now, because it did not occur to me this was going to be the song that got you, right?
I had no idea.
In my head, I'm like, it was clear Marjorie was going to be rough for me. Like, that's just duh. So I was very like confused.
Is she okay?
I was like, she's like stone faced right now. Like, because
I was trying so hard to hold it together.
Like, is she mad? Is she
because the rest
tired?
of the concert I was like singing and bebopping and dancing and like so excited and just like,
and then it just went, it was like
I literally like was barely moving. I was like barely singing along, like,
because I will say, even when I was crying, I was still like singing. I was just like, whatever. She just was like,
I stopped moving.
I was like, oh my God, I have pissed her off. I was like, is she mad I'm filming so much? And then I
literally
was like,
didn't even notice.
I was like, what's going on? And then the tear started, and I was like, and then like my dumb ass is like, Okay, that's what it is. Because I'm, me. So I'm like, okay, that's none of those things I've managed to conceive in my head in the past 5 seconds. And you're like, I don't know what it is. And I was like, I'll just leave you alone. And I guess.
Yeah. And I had to like dig through my pocket of my jacket to get to my tissue because we brought tissues. We knew we were going to cry at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it was about that song. It just got to me.
I don't know.
I'm like, I don't know. Like, because I like that song because I like the idea of it being like, I think it was the like that, just sort of the idea of like this like wonderful woman that she's describing.
Mm-hmm.
And then she's like, and then, she bought the house and then it was bought by me. And it's like this like mantle of like just being like a woman in society who's breaking rules and doing what she wants and is living a fulfilling, happy life is getting passed down to her.
Oh, yeah.
Like through this house because it's like, it's a whole thing about like this woman, Rebecca, bought and owned this house and like that house is symbolic of her entire being and who she is and being able to be her own person.
Yeah, and it's also like when Taylor did buy that house, there was a lot of things that were said about it, like, especially in the media at the time. And so, when the lyrics changed to "I had a marvelous time ruining everything," she goes, "Then it was bought by me," and then she's like, "If who knows if I never would have, if I never wait, what could have been?" And so it's definitely like it's a reflection of like Taylor, like you said, like Rebecca passes the mantle down to Taylor, you could say, or like Taylor is continuing that legacy of causing. I think that's kind of what it's like. Taylor's continuing the legacy of like disruption, and so it's just like,
it was just like womanhood and empowerment and sisterhood and like legacy and passing that down and like like the symbolism of that song. It was such a poetic moment. And then the way she says it, and then like the moment in the performance lines up where she looks at Rebecca and they're like passing each other kind of on the stairs and Taylor's like, and then it was bought by me. And there's a smile exchange between them.
You're like,
the whole moment, I just like, it just got to me. And I was like, okay, let me just let it out. Let me have a moment and then reel it back in. And then we were good after that. But I didn't, that was a surprise to me.
Yeah. It's just,
I didn't know I felt that kind of way about that song. I felt a ways.
Yeah. I mean, it just was it was just great. All of it was great.
I danced my ass off. I like the freedom just to sing as loud as you want to the songs you love, even if you fuck up some of the words, because I definitely did. And like to just dance all out like you would like in your kitchen or in your bedroom when no one else is there, like your dance break party, like uninhibited completely. Like you don't get that often as an adult, like I can't tell you, like I can't tell you the last time I did that in public because I'm very much like I'll sing and dance in public, whatever, be goofy, like it doesn't bother me. But there's always a little element of like self-awareness and self-consciousness of not being too much, too loud. But like you really don't get that as an adult. It's mostly reserved for like childhood, you know?
Yeah. I mean, it's just this magical, like uninhibited, just like I get to be
who I am.
Yeah, like
without
fully.
Yeah, and it's not even just without fear of judgment. It's with the knowledge that you will be fully accepted. Which is there's a difference. It's not I don't care what people think and I'm not afraid of what it's not that. It's not I'm free. I'm free of being afraid of judgment. It is I know that everyone around me fully accepts me as I am in this moment and celebrates that because it's also them.
Yeah, it's just this. It was just great. I mean, it was really just like a great experience. And it was like, I've been
best night of my life.
In the top 10 for sure. I'm like, I don't know how to, I'm like, top 10. Feel comfortable with that. Probably in the top 5.
Number 1. Numero uno.
I told you this yesterday, whenever I called you, it was Friday. So I was just really depressed afterwards because there's normal like concert kind of blues type of thing. And you're just like, oh, or like vacay blues you get back. But this was just different. I was like, what's happened?
What is the point of living?
And I will say, I think if you're a creative, like a creative person where you like to do creative things like sing, dance, film movies, write. I'm saying if you're like like you want to be in the entertainment industry, I think that for people like us that are like that, it is sometimes hard to explore that passion on a daily basis. And so having other ways to be able to express your creativity is nice. And so like this concert really was an event where you got to do that. Like we designed our jackets and that's like creative. We had the friendship bracelets, which is creative. Every aspect of going is like this creative process. And then like for me, I love film. And so one of my biggest regrets with the Reputation concert was I didn't record anything. I did, but it was on Snapchat and it was like to somebody. So I didn't have any videos. And so that's what I was like, okay, I want to make sure I get some videos this time because we're so close or whatever. And I did. I got some pretty good videos of her. And I was like, that was almost the funnest part to me. Because she's like this perfect canvas where like there's not a bad angle of her. And just recording her was so fun. And once it was over, I'm like watching the videos and I'm like, oh yeah, that was good. Or, oh yeah, that was good. I took a lens or whatever too to use with the app that we use, which is called Beastcam to film. And so, I mean, to me, I was like, this creative thing is just over with. And I'm like, I just want to like, and I don't know if it was in my head. I was like, oh, like, no, because sometimes as a creative person, you question like, do I really want to do this because of effort or this, that, and the third? And I'm like, no, I felt so like fulfilled doing that. Like it was just fun. Like that void that you don't even realize you have is like being filled with something. And then when it's gone, you're like, oh. So, just so you know, if you went to the Eras Tour concert and you're having this extremely really big void afterwards, it might not just be because it's the Taylor Swift concert. You might just be a creative person.
Yeah. I mean, but that happens a lot, I think, with like big events or big moments where it's like you have all this, like your life leading up to that moment is all about that. It's the preparation and thinking about it and planning for it and the anticipation and the excitement. And then you do it and you get this rush of like endorphins and dopamine. And it's just like so exciting and fun. And you're so happy. And then obviously after that, you get a little bit of a crash because, you know, high highs and low lows. And so then you get the come down after the high. And it's gnarly.
And I'm like,
I mean, like, a lot of like performers or, you know, talk about things like that. Or even like, the comedian that I like, Andrew Schultz, he put out his big special Infamous last year. And he talked about how like, you know, he had spent the last couple of years, like through the pandemic, working on that material, workshopping the jokes, doing shows. He did the tour and then planning and shooting and editing and putting out the special. And then he was like, once it was done, he's like, I was just so depressed after, because it's like, well, what do you do now? And then, oh, you got to start everything over from scratch. And it's like, am I even funny anymore? You know, and he's talked about that. And so I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I kind of get that a little.
Yeah, it was an experience. I mean, it was just so fun. So I'm like, I hate that the scalpers are like, some of the ticket price, they're so insane. If you're rich and can go. If you're a scalper, quit being an asshole. Yeah, like, quit being a jerk.
The woman who was sat next to you, who was there by herself, she said she had bought her ticket that week. And they were so expensive. I think she said she just bought hers. And
yeah, because she's like, I can't afford two of them because she lives in Atlanta, and she was just like, yeah, I didn't buy one for my husband because they were so expensive. And I'm like, you know, it's so like, that's crazy. I mean, I get these people. The thing that's annoying is like the ticket prices that people are asking for. Their tickets didn't cost nearly that much money. Even if you wanted to like make a $200 or $300 off your ticket, the prices that they are now is insane. Like, it's just crazy. And so it's like, y'all, come the fuck on. Like, this is such a chance of a lifetime, and you're just like robbing people of it.
Oh, so should we talk about really quickly our nightmare experience trying to get back to our hotel after the concert? So the concert ended. It was right around like 11 o'clock. I think it was a little after 11. And so, you know, at that point you have several tens of thousands of people all exiting the stadium at once. A lot of people drove and parked there. Some people were getting picked up by parents or whatever. But a lot of us did what they told us to do, which was to plan to take MARTA to park somewhere else and take MARTA to the stadium. So, of course, we have to take MARTA back to where we're going. And so at this point, almost everyone is having to get on the same train, the same eastbound train to make it to 5 Points, because that's where all the lines intersect. And then we go north or south from there. And so I'm not even kidding when I say from the time the show ended to us getting back to our hotel was about 2 hours. Keep in mind, it took us maybe 30, 45 minutes to get there. 2 hours to get back.
Yeah, it was
crazy.
And I think part of it was because it was raining when we left.
Right, when we left the stadium. It was like, it wasn't a heavy downpour, but it was a steady.
It wasn't, yeah, I mean.
Steady rain. Like, I'm glad I decided not to put any temporary color in the bottom of my hair, because there was another girl who had, and it was all leaking. And she was wearing like a white or like a cream colored top, and it was all pink streaks down the back. I was like, bless.
Yeah.
So good. And choice not to.
So I think a lot of people that normally, hey, we might have taken video or pictures
or waited in merch lines or kind of like stayed a little bit and not rushed to MARTA. Everyone was immediately like, we need to get out of the rain because you can't stay in the stadium. Like you have to keep moving.
And so that I think affected why everything got really, really, really just congested really quickly.
Yeah, because you're all converging at this one MARTA stop, and they literally, and to their credit, the MARTA employees were doing a pretty decent job, I think, of crowd control, because you basically have to, it's a subway, so you have to go down, first it was one escalator and then down another set of stairs to get to where our train was, where we had to get on our train. And so they were letting us out down in waves. One, partially because I don't think you can have that many people on an escalator at once, but then two, because you can't have that many people down on a train platform at once because it's dangerous with like just crowd control in general. So they literally, it's kind of weird because once we got down to the bottom where we needed to wait for our train, and there's a ton of people down there, there was another set of stairs from the opposite way that we had come, and they had people just waiting at the top of the stairs that they would not let down. They were waiting there for probably 25, 30 minutes, and like you could tell they were just chomping at the bit waiting to go down, and they wouldn't let them. And it felt a little like The Purge.
So
like they were waiting to come attack us.
It was like on the way to the concert, all friends. In the stadium, all friends. After the concert, still decent-ish. Once you're in MARTA, get the fuck out my way, bitch.
Cutthroat.
Like, it just,
and everyone's
the energy shifted.
And it's more menacing because everyone's wearing glitter. Everyone is dressed in glitter and sequins. But we're all a little bit like soggy. So makeup has started to run. Hair dye has started to run.
We had some weird Hunger Games vibes.
Yes, it was. It was
the Capitol vibes.
Yes.
And so
it was a little scary.
Yeah, it was like, so
we had to we were waiting for a while to catch a train just because they kept getting full, and, you know, they can only take so many people at once. And so we were waiting for our first train for probably 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Just to get on the first train, just to go one stop so that we can then transfer to the southbound train.
Yeah. And then there was this one lady who.
Ooh, because we had to wait for a couple of trains to pass because we just couldn't get on them. And so we were like, we can squeeze. There's room for us to squeeze in right where the doors are.
And this lady runs up. And she's doing like this situation where she's like holding the door, standing in the middle, 1 foot on the platform, 1 foot on the train, which is like dangerous because like that door, you ain't holding that door. That's not. It ain't an elevator, dog.
Well, no, it's like that. The doors won't close unless they're clear,
girl.
But so she's standing there holding the door. There's room for. We walk up to it and are trying to get on, and she like holds her hands out, and she's like, "Oh, I'm waiting for my 2 friends."
Well, because I said, "Oh, well, is there room?" Because she's just standing there at first and kind of looking like she's holding, and I'm like, what are you doing, bitch? I didn't know she was with anybody because there was nobody with her. Yeah. So I'm thinking, oh, she's holding the door for like Swifties. Anybody. Because we're all friends, right? Not anymore. No. I'm like, oh, well, is there room for us? She went, well, sorry, let me restart my sentence. That was fast. I said, is there room for us 2 on here? And I kind of already had a step on as I'm asking, because I'm assuming the answer is yes, because like there clearly is. I'm just being polite. And she goes, well, I don't really know because I have 2 friends and one of them's pregnant and I'm trying to get them over here. And I'm like, how's
and
that?
She's literally looking behind us like, come on, hurry up. Like waving her friends over, I guess.
Clearly weren't even with her. So then I was like, just get off. Just get
it's
off.
not even worth it. And I am the person that's like, I'll just wait. Like, I'm not going to fight people to get on a train. I'm not going to rush. I'm not going to get trampled in a crowd. Jessica's like, no, we're getting on this train. And I'm like, well, we're not going to make it. We can just wait. And she's like, we're going to make it. And
we would have won for that bitch.
And then this one, and there wasn't even room for 3 people. Like, us 2 could have gotten on there. Her and her 2 friends, one who's pregnant.
So then,
I'm like,
I was kind of a bitch because what I did is, as we were getting off, I didn't say anything, but then I said something as I was walking away because I knew she couldn't chase me because she was holding the door. So I was like, "What are you gonna do? Miss your fucking spot and beat my ass, bitch?" So then I was like, "How the fuck is that my problem?" Talking about her pregnant friend, and I'm like, I knew it was kind of cunt. I mean, it was pretty cunty, but I'm like, what are you going to do? I mean, you really want your spot on the train? You got to come beat my ass? Like, fuck you. Like, how pregnant is your friend? Is she a month pregnant? 2 months pregnant? Is she 8 months pregnant? And if she's 8 months pregnant, why the fuck is she at this Taylor Swift concert where she could just go into fucking labor at any second? Because I know when you get to a certain point, you're not allowed to go do stuff like that. Because depending on, like, I mean, maybe unless you're like super healthy or maybe you're not having any issues with your pregnancy. But I mean, when you're that if you're that pregnant, like, girl.
Yeah. I feel like anything past like 7 months, you should be prepared that at any point you could go into labor.
Yeah.
And so you shouldn't necessarily, I'm not saying don't live your life, but you shouldn't be at a stadium of like how many thousands of people, tens of thousands of people, crowds. Like, it could be dangerous. And like,
okay,
what happens if you go into labor and you're in the middle of the MARTA and you can't go nowhere? Like,
yeah, I'm just sitting here like,
neither here nor there.
I'm like, that's such a broad thing. She's pregnant. Well, how pregnant? Girl, get the fuck out of my face.
But also, what does that mean for, like, how does that affect this situation at all?
Why is that my problem?
Like, being pregnant is not like a catch-all for you can do whatever you want and you can be an asshole to people. Not that the pregnant person was being an asshole.
No.
Her friend was being an asshole.
Yeah, I'm like, why did you leave your pregnant friend?
Yeah.
If you're so worried about her safety, you left her to go hold the MARTA door?
Mm.
Like, she wasn't even that close anyway. I don't know if they made it. But that was pretty much the only thing that was annoying. But we got through it.
Mm-hmm.
We got back to the room, ate our cheesesteaks, and then we drove home. And that was pretty much it. And it was the next day. We didn't do that night.
No.
It was awesome, though. I mean, great experience. If you are going to see her, you're going to love it. If you're trying to go see her.
If you got the money.
Spend it. If you have any way to go, if you're having to save, like, if you're having to save money and thinking to yourself, is it really worth it?
It is.
Yes, it is.
It.
So, yeah, we had a great time. I loved it. And also, quick sidebar, she announced Speak Now, Taylor's version. It'll be out July 7th. I'm part of the PR team or the marketing team, just so y'all are aware. That happened in Nashville. Y'all had a great time. So
I'm telling you now, I wasn't there, but I know.
I watched the live stream as much as I could because people's kept ending. So I was like, I want to see what the surprise songs are. And then Taylor Nation itself went live when she was announcing Speak Now. And I'm like, why can't y'all just do that the whole fucking time? Oh, yeah. This will be my closing thing, I say.
Okay.
I don't understand why she is not doing a live stream of this concert every day and charging $13 for it per day to watch a live stream because enough people want to watch it. I don't get why there's not like a live stream that we can just tune into and watch, whether it's from one person holding the phone, whether it's somehow we could watch the screens. Like, there's a missed money-making opportunity not having this concert live streamed and making people pay for every single one. Don't do a pass, girl. If we want to, I'll pay $13. I want to know what your secret songs are. Or your secret songs, your surprise songs are. That's what most people want to watch. And I'm like,
I mean, especially because all of her shows are sold out. It doesn't make sense to do it or announce it until everything has sold out. But then, once every single show in your tour is sold out, which we know they are. Yeah.
It feels like
it does feel like a missed opportunity. And I know that
there's a people that would really, really, it would be great for the people that couldn't get tickets or can't afford to even pay the scalper tickets.
Yeah. I mean, and she would, she has the resources and the team in place that they could figure out how to make it work, because obviously you have to have, she owns a lot. She owns the performance rights, because she's a writer on all of her songs. So she has the ability, like, she has the right to say what songs can and can't be performed live or be used in certain like movies or media or whatever. So she has the right to do that. So it's not a music rights issue. It would just be working with a streamer.
With a streamer, yeah. I mean,
you would have to do it through like YouTube or Twitch or Facebook.
Yeah. I'm like, if there's a way to do that, that would just be great.
Or you can do it through a third party, like a Patreon or some other service that allows, live stream video.
Yeah. It just seems like a missed opportunity because that would just be really awesome. Because I think that's almost stressful trying to find somebody who's streaming it so you can watch like the surprise songs. And
she could even do it through her own website. I mean, like she has enough money and enough resources because even if you don't want to, because most streamers, you have to give them a portion of the money that you make, even if you're selling like tickets to a live stream event.
Mm-hmm.
Like Facebook is ridiculous. You have to pay an arm and a leg for like all the fees and whatever you owe them for what you sell. But I mean, she could do it through her own website because you just need the live streaming software. And then as long as your website can host video, just do it through that.
Yeah. I feel like that should be something that gets looked into.
Mm.
But,
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, guys. That is it. We might be going on a hiatus. I really am not 100% positive because this set will be it's going to be torn down soon. We'll be changing locations and rebuilding somewhere else. So
we have to figure out exactly. We had planned initially for this to be our last episode before the hiatus, but things are in flux right now. So we just got to figure some stuff out.
Yeah.
So we will let you know.
Yeah, you'll find out.
Yeah, you'll find out. This either is the last episode of this season or it's not.
Or it's not.
Or you'll see one next week.
Yeah. So we shall see. But anyway, guys,
bye.
Peace out.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that episode, go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're at it, hit the fucking subscribe button. Stop making me beg. We'll talk at you next time. And remember, don't be ugly, dumb, or stupid.